Hello! Today we're going to read a book called Scaredy Squirrel. There's my squirrel. Have you ever seen a squirrel in your yard before? They are small and brown, and you know it's a squirrel because they have a bushy tail. So this is the squirrel I have today to play with while we read our book called Scaredy Squirrel. Here we go. Warning! Scaredy Squirrel insists that everyone wash their hands with antibacterial soap before beginning this book. Oh, let's pretend to wash our hands. Soap. Wash them real well before we read the book. All right, we're ready to begin. Scaredy Squirrel never leaves his nut tree. There he is at the top of his tree. He'd rather stay in his safe and familiar tree than risk venturing into the unknown. The unknown can be a scary place for a squirrel. A few things Scaredy Squirrel is afraid of. Tarantulas, poison ivy, germs, sharks, killer bees, and green Martians. Let's look at some of those things that Scaredy Squirrel is afraid of. Tarantulas, bleh. Germs. These aren't real germs. They're my pretend germs. Poison ivy. This is also not real poison ivy. It's pretend poison ivy. Green Martians. Bleh. Sharks. And killer bees. So he's perfectly happy right where he is. The advantages of never leaving the nut tree. There's a great view, plenty of nuts to eat, safe place, and there are no spiders, poison ivy, green Martians, killer bees, germs, or sharks. The disadvantages of never leaving the nut tree. Same old view, same old nuts, same old place. In Scaredy Squirrel's nut tree, every day is the same. Everything is predictable. All is under control. Let's look at his week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Can you point to Scaredy Squirrel in each of those pictures? Here we go. Let's do it again. See how quick you can point. Can you find them? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is Scaredy Squirrel's daily routine. Wake up, eat a nut, look at the view. Eat a nut, look at the view. Eat a nut, look at the view. Go to sleep. That's all he does all day. Now let's just say for a moment something unexpected did happen. Rest assured, Scaredy Squirrel is prepared. Here are a few items in Scaredy Squirrel's emergency kit. A hard hat, antibacterial soap, calamine lotion, a can of sardines, a Band-Aid, a nut, rubber gloves, and a mask, and bug spray, and a parachute. Let's look at some of the things in Scaredy Squirrel's survival kit. He's got a hard hat, a Band-Aid, a pair of rubber gloves, a net, calamine lotion in case he gets into poison ivy, antibacterial hand soap, bug spray for those nasty bees, a parachute so he can safely escape from his tree. And we are going to make parachutes today. That's our craft, so let's do that in a little bit. And a can of sardines. Now, what do you suppose he needs a can of sardines for? What do you think? Maybe for the sharks. So that's Scaredy Squirrel's survival kit. He is ready for anything. What to do in case of an emergency according to Scaredy Squirrel. Step 1, panic. Step 2, run. Step 3, get the kit. Step 4, put on the kit. Step 5, consult the exit plan. Step 6, exit plan. If there's an absolutely, definitely, truly no other option. Here is Scaredy Squirrel's exit plan. Exit 1. Note to self, watch out for green Martians and killer bees in the sky. Exit 2. Note to self, do not land in a river. If unavoidable, use sardines to distract sharks. Exit 3. Note to self, look for poison ivy and for tarantulas roaming the ground. Exit 4. Note to self, keep in mind that germs are everywhere. Remember, if all else fails, playing dead is always a good option. With his emergency kit in hand, Scaredy Squirrel watches day after day. He watches until one day, Thursday, 9:37 a.m. Woo! What does he see? You see them in his binoculars? A killer bee appears! Wah! Scaredy Squirrel jumps in panic, knocking the emergency kit out of the tree. That was not part of the plan. Scaredy Squirrel jumps to catch his kit. He quickly regrets this idea. The parachute is in the kit. He starts to glide. Scaredy Squirrel is no ordinary squirrel. He's a flying squirrel. What a surprise. Scaredy Squirrel forgot all about that killer bee, not to mention the tarantula, poison ivy, green Martians, germs, and sharks. He feels overjoyed, adventurous, carefree, alive, until he lands in a bush. And plays dead. 30 minutes later, 1 hour later, 2 hours later, finally Scaredy Squirrel realizes that nothing horrible is going to happen in the unknown today. So he returns to his nut tree. All this excitement has inspired Scaredy Squirrel to make drastic changes to his life. Here's Scaredy Squirrel's new and improved daily routine. Wake up, eat a nut, look at the view, jump into the unknown, play dead, return home, eat a nut, look at the view, eat a nut, look at the view, go to sleep. P.S. As for the emergency kit, Scaredy Squirrel is in no hurry to pick it up just yet. It fell in the poison ivy. The end. Thank you so much for listening to my story today about Scaredy Squirrel. We're going to do a quick little activity to see if you remember what order some of the events happened in our story. We're going to look at these 3 events. We have Scaredy Squirrel laying in a bush, Scaredy Squirrel looking through his binoculars and seeing a bee, and Scaredy Squirrel flying through the air when he fell out of the tree. So, which one of these things happened first in the story? Did he play dead in a bush? Did he see a killer bee? Or did he fall from his tree? Did you guess seeing a killer bee? That's correct. He saw the killer bee first. Then what happened? Did he jump from the tree or play dead in the bush? He jumped from the tree, go Scaredy Squirrel, and he landed in the bush and played dead. Good job remembering those events from our story. Hi guys, I had to stop our video because a big thunderstorm came through, but the sun is out and I'm back. So let's continue our activities for Scaredy Squirrel. We looked at some of the things that Scaredy Squirrel is afraid of, and we looked at some of the things he keeps in his survival kit. So let's see if you can remember any of the things Scaredy Squirrel has in his survival kit. If you see anything that was in Scaredy Squirrel's survival kit, let me know. Here are some of the things we looked at. Now, let's see what we have here. We have a green alien, some pretend poison ivy, a shark, a band-aid, bug spray, and a parachute. Which of those things did Scaredy Squirrel have in his survival kit? There are 3 things. See if you can point to them. Did you point to the bug spray, the band-aid, and the parachute? If so, you are correct. And did you notice I'm wearing Scaredy Squirrel's hard hat? All right, next we're gonna do an activity where we make our own parachute. So stay tuned. All right, for today's activity, we are gonna make a parachute, just like Scaredy Squirrel had in his survival kit. These are the things you're going to need to make the parachute. A pair of scissors, some tape. I used a chapstick for my parachute weight. You can use anything that is small, not too heavy. You're going to need some yarn and just a plastic shopping bag. So if you want to pause the video and run and get those items and come right back, I'm going to show you how to make a parachute. Alright, let's begin. We're going to start by cutting the solid back part off the bag. This is something you're going to want to ask an adult to help you with. So you probably need to use some sharper scissors to cut through that bag. So make sure you ask Mom or Dad to help you cut the back off the bag. Once we have this piece of plastic, this is going to be our parachute. But we need to make it a nice square. So we're just going to spread this out. I'm going to try to cut one of these lines kind of straight on one side. Now I'm going to straighten up this side. Now in order to get a nice square piece, I'm just going to fold so this straight side is touching that straight side. Once I fold that in half, then I can trim off the other extra plastic. And this is going to be the parachute part of our parachute. Once you're done cutting your square of plastic, the next step is going to be to cut some yarn or string. You want your yarn or string to be just a little bit wider than the parachute is from one corner to the other. So I'm going to go from one corner to the other, and I'm going to make it just a couple inches longer on that side. Next, I'm going to cut another piece of yarn the same size. I like to just hold my pieces of yarn together, stretch them out. Again, you can have an adult help you with this. We're going to cut this one. Now we have 2 pieces of yarn. We're going to use our tape and we're going to tape the yarn each corner of our parachute. So I'm just going to put a little piece of tape here, kind of wrap it around the back so it's not super sticky. I'm going to tape the other end over here, pick it up and wrap it around. Turn it this way so that you can see both the corners, and we're going to tape the second piece of string from this corner to this corner. Put a piece of tape there, wrap it around, put a piece of tape here, and wrap it around. Now the last part we're going to tape is, we need to tape it right in the middle. So we're going to kind of pull up the middle here till we can see just about where the exact center of those two strings are. And we're going to put a piece of tape around these strings so that the part where the weight is pulling down right in the middle. That's pretty much our parachute. Now we just need someone to ride on the parachute. I used a chapstick just because it's about the right size and about the right weight. You could use some little toy that you have around your house, a small stone. The main thing is you don't want it to be too heavy and you don't want it to be too light. You're just going to tape that on in the middle. If it's too heavy, when you drop your parachute, it's going to go boom. Did you see that? Watch how fast it's going to fall. Boom. If it's too light, when you go to throw up your parachute, it's just going to kind of, but if it's just right, it should float to the ground. All right, guys, we're going to take this parachute outside right now and practice with it. So stay tuned. Okay. Hi, guys. It's time to fly the parachutes we made. We're going to start by pinching at the very top of the parachute. The next thing you want to do is squeeze it so it's real thin, so that when you throw it up, it'll go as high as it can. Are you ready? On the count of 3, I'm going to throw it up.